Okay. Good, Mike.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Planning Commission meeting of Monday, February 1st, 2021 is called to order at 5:30 PM. Roll call.
Kelly.
Here.
Stivoli.
Here.
Litton.
Here.
Schwackenwald.
Here.
McCall.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I move to approve the minutes of the October 14th, 2020 Special Commission meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Stivoli.
Yes.
Litton.
Yes.
Schwackenwald.
Yes.
McCall.
Yes.
Okay, I move to approve the minutes of the November 2nd, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Stivoli.
Yes.
Litton.
Yes.
Schwackenwald.
Yes.
McCall.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Okay, I move to approve the minutes of the December 14th, 2020 Special Planning Commission meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Litton.
Yes.
Schwackenwald.
Yes.
McCall.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Stivoli.
Yes.
Okay, first item on the agenda is proposal for expansion of interior renovations at 6975 West 130th Street, Medcare Center. Application submitted by Dennis Cole, Malkovich, and Pusti Architects Incorporated. You're up.
Good evening. I'm Janice Cole. I'm from Malkovich and Pusti Architects, and let me know if I'm mumbling because I'm not used to talking with a mask on. But I wanted to present to you our proposal for interior renovation and addition for the Medcare Center in Parma Heights. The project is about a 3,500 square foot addition onto the existing building that's there now. The site location is at 130th. I have it shown on that drawing. It's an existing building, and then the house next door will be torn down, and our expansion will go into that lot where the house is now. This is a larger plan of the existing area. The building is on the south side, and then the existing house is on the north side, and that's the side that our addition will go onto. We'll also be improving the parking lot and adding signage and landscaping to the project. I just included some pictures in here of what's around in case you weren't familiar with the area, but I'm sure you probably are. Our plan is, like I said, the new addition will go on the north side of the existing building. The existing building is a one-story brick building with a gable roof, and we will be adding a similar addition onto that, similar in size. We have additional parking added. Our idea was to use the existing entrance drive that's already cut into the curb of 130th, and then use the existing house driveway as an exit so that there's a little bit of circulation along the front of that building and we can get cars in and out. We have some areas for snow removal, decorative, gotta go to the next page, which is a little bit more detailed landscape-wise, but we do have some decorative stone shown on here so that when the snow's moved in the wintertime, it has some place to be until it melts away, because it's Cleveland, like you said. We have used plantings that are approved for Parma Heights. And if you look in the lower right-hand corner of the drawing is where we're proposing the ground sign to be located. We have more than enough parking required by code, so, and then we have a dumpster enclosure at the back, say the southeast corner of the property. This is a rendering showing the landscape the landscaping plan for what we intend to put out there. There would be some screening along the street to screen the parking, and then some decorative landscaping along the front, some arborvitaes. This is just a layout of the plan. I don't know if you have any questions regarding the plan, but the existing space has 7 exam rooms, and we will be adding on approximately 7 more exam rooms. They will also be adding an x-ray area, a larger waiting area, and some lab and nurse areas, staff support areas. In the existing building, we plan to renovate some of the existing waiting areas to be the staff break room and more of a soft space for the staff billing, and just expand some of those areas in that building. I have elevations here. The center entrance area, which does stick up a little bit, would be this material, which is a Nichiha. It's a fiber cement board. It's got a shine to it, and it would have a hard base along the bottom of it so that snow and ice and foot traffic doesn't damage this board. And then the material on the addition of the building would be this Nichiha, which is a wood look panel, but it's also fiber cement board, and it would have also a base, a cast stone base on it to be more durable at the base, at the sidewalk. And then our plan is to paint the existing brick on the existing building to match the tone of this siding. Here's a rear elevation. It's the same materials that I mentioned earlier. It would have we would have shingles, roof shingles for the roofing. And we try to continue the bands around each of the buildings. Right now, there's currently a band along the existing building that we were going to replace with this, just to tie it into the new addition so that the buildings both tie together.
So, excuse me, so the existing brick that's up there right now on the current building is going to be covered or no?
Just painted.
Sorry?
Painted? Mm-hmm. Right now, it's like a red.
Right. But I mean, it's going to stay that?
Yep.
Dennis, the materials she's showing, are those now on our approved list?
Those are acceptable,
The one that's going on the facet, how reflective is that?
I don't know what value, reflectance value it has. I can get that to you if you need it.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, we'd like that.
Okay.
And be blinding the folks on the 130th.
You say the existing is painted. So I'm looking at this rendering, I mean, it doesn't look like it's a paint, is it? Am I looking at it wrong?
Are
From
you
the right
done
side
this?
over?
The right side is the existing building, and it will be painted to match the
It'll
left.
be painted to match what you're putting on there? Okay.
Right. I mean, it's not going to have the same, it's not going to look like siding, it's just going to be a similar tone of paint.
Right.
It's going to be just a one value kind of
Then,
paint.
Mr. Patton, what's the guidelines on painting?
One of these, the proper application foundation.
Thank you.
I do have a question about, if you could go back to the floor plan. Is there some kind of ratio that you need to use? It just pops out to me how small the waiting room looks when you have 14 exam rooms. Is there some kind of way that you decide how the square footage would be in a waiting room as compared to the rest of the exam rooms or?
Typically, we would use the FGI guidelines for a hospital application, and this is not really, doesn't really fall under that application. But I don't even believe the FGI guidelines has 1 in 10 or, any kind of size requirement. It's more of like a rule of thumb.
Mhm.
But I know the doctor has expressed that she wanted the waiting area small because she wants to be able to bring the patients in.
Into the room to wait?
Right, she doesn't want them collecting out in the waiting room.
Okay. Makes sense.
And especially with COVID and however we move forward from there, I mean, I
Right.
don't know if she would be calling people from their cars or anything like that. I know
Okay.
that there's a lot of places that have been doing that lately.
Thank you.
Their model is to take the patients to the exam room when they arrive, so they actually do wait. If there is a waiting, they will be waiting in the exam
In the
room. They won't be
exam room.
waiting in the waiting room very long at all. This is a view of the building. We were talking about using a smooth face stone on the addition, and then underneath this panel, we were going to use, I'm sorry, I picked up the wrong sample. We were going to use more of a rougher face, like a rock face, on the base of this, just to give it a little bit of character. We're also planning to put over the existing building and over the entrance some sunscreens to help keep the heat out in the summer. And then another thing I should mention, the existing building right now has a gable front on this bump out, and our intent was to make that a hip roof to tie it in a little bit more too. I don't know if anybody would catch that, but just a night view. The entrance will be a larger maybe not two-story, but story and a half space to just bring everybody in. And then these are some photos of the materials. I do have the Nichiha glacier is right here. It's kind of hard, it doesn't read very well on the picture, so that's why the sample's a better choice. And we were going to use anodized aluminum storefront system. All the windows would be anodized aluminum also. And then brown dimensional shingles, the trim's white. The Nichiha vintage wood spruce is this sample right here. And we would have the stone bases that would match each of those. And then the final thing I wanted to just show was the signage that's proposed, the ground sign. I know that our City of Parma Heights has a limitation of a 6-foot-high ground sign, and that's what we show here. But the owner has asked if it's possible to get a variance for 8 foot, if that's something that the city would let us do, or is that something that's just not possible
Go through
whatsoever?
zoning.
Yeah, you'd have to make the application to go to the zoning board. though.
Okay, do you know about, like, I know you're not going to tell me, yes, it will pass or whatever, but, I mean, are they pretty reasonable to,
Board makes that decision, but if it's not too far out, I'm
Okay.
sure they would.
just that they wanted to do a number of them, and I guess it's more economical to produce them all the same size than to start changing the numbers. But right here on this drawing, I have it shown as 6 foot. The signage, see, I think I have it on here. The signage, we're 2 square foot signage per lineal foot of frontage. I know that Ed Piatek already went through the calculations on this page, but we're within the signage code allowable square footage for the ground sign and the building sign added together. There would only be one building sign. That's all I have.
Have they already purchased the other property?
I believe so.
Think so?
They have,
Yeah.
They have?
they have.
And when are they looking to start construction?
We are supposed to be done with drawings by the end of this month, for 50%, I should say. So I would say that maybe drawings will be done mid-March, mid to late March. And then the contractor would need to mobilize. Looking for my crutch over here to text me to tell me what to say to you guys. So late spring, early summer, I would guess.
And you're looking to finish by?
I don't know the construction schedule off the top of my head. I can get that to you.
Would you please just
Yep.
send it on to Dennis? Just so we have an idea how long there's going to be construction on 130.
Okay.
So we're looking for a start and a finish about time. The length of construction obviously would fill in the gap. If I have anything else?
I had one question, Mr. Patton. She had mentioned that the plants are acceptable for our code. I'm just concerned about traffic pulling out, that some of those plants aren't blocking.
I have this sent to Ray Priest, our landscape architect, and
Okay.
once he answers back,
Okay.
he'll tell us on the landscape side of it.
Okay,
So that's all being done yet.
okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Dennis, anything to add?
Bill?
Mark?
You have before you, included with this application, a memorandum from our city engineer. It lays out several different comments that the city engineer thinks are appropriate for this application. First recommendation from the law department is that any adoption would be done contingent upon satisfaction of these city engineer comments. Second recommendation from the law department would be that it be contingent on landscape architect approval. Third contingency that the law department would recommend, there's been some discussion about a potential variance for the sign and any other matters, that it be submitted as is, and any variances would have to be approved by zoning for them to become a part of this plan. So it would be contingent on zoning approval of any divergence from what we have in front of us. BZA approval.
So we're contingent on building material, contingent on landscape, and contingent on zoning.
And if you look, the comments from the engineer encompass 12 different comments that go beyond just building material. So I would make it contingent on satisfaction of those 12 comments by the city engineer.
And I could give you an answer now on construction. Construction length of time is 9 months,
9 months of construction.
to be complete by December of 2021.
Do you know if they have to do any more tapping into any of the services that would reduce the lanes on 130th? Or is there existing connections?
I think we were bringing in new connections and then backfeeding into the existing building so that it would be one service. I know that my engineers and I went back and forth on that, and I'd have to double check with them to see what their final decision was on that.
Please forward that on to Dennis as well. Okay, anything else? Okay. Move to approve contingent on our city engineer's 12 comments with the contingency on the landscaping as well from our landscape architect and the approval of the signage from our zoning board on the signage. So like to approve on those contingencies, proposed expansion of interior renovations at 6975 West 130th Street, Medcare Center. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll.
Schwackmall,
Yes.
McCall,
Abstain.
Kelly,
Yes.
Stavoli,
Yes.
Litton.
Yes.
Okay. If you can get that information to Dennis over the next few weeks.
Yep.
And so we have a better idea. And Dennis, when those come in, can you just add it to the agenda when we come in, just so we know
Yeah.
as we follow up
Absolutely.
on this? Okay. If you'd like to gather your things, we have to go into another meeting that you do not need to sit through.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
And thank you for your time, yes.
I was not present at that meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Careful.
Bye-bye.
I'd like to close the regular planning commission meeting and open a public hearing to discuss repealing chapter 1186, the planned unit development of the codified ordinances. We do a roll on that? No? Okay, so we're closed. Mr. Percorni, you
Thank you,
have the floor.
Mr. Chairman. We are here tonight to discuss the repealing of Chapter 1186, which is the Planned Unit Development Ordinance, which pertains in our city exclusively to the Cornerstone project. The council referred the consideration of the repealing of this ordinance to the Planning Commission at its last council meeting. And as you know, this commission spent countless hours working with Chris Hopkins of CT Consultants and other professionals regarding the study, land use study that she prepared, and then the potential rezoning of the city, an update of our codified ordinances, which are 50-plus years old. That was accomplished with your hard work and referral back to council back in December of 2020. Council has had 3 readings on those proposed ordinance changes and a public hearing, and they passed all the changes as were presented, and they will become effective 30 days from the council action, which is about the end of February, I believe. So the area that the PUD ordinance applies to, Cornerstone, is now part of the West 130th Street district. Now it's known as that rather than the planned unit development area. The planned unit development ordinance was enacted in 2003, and as you may recall from Ms. Hopkins' report, because the project failed some time ago, that ordinance, PUD ordinance, is currently just obsolete, and especially in light of the fact that the new zoning code will become effective to make that area, most of the development over there would be, I think, conditional use that you're going to be able to review and control. The PUD ordinance is, as you may recall, if you were around back when this happened, it's pretty cumbersome. There's all kinds of design manuals and length of time for review that was codified in the ordinance. And we've made this now more flexible mixed-use district, where again the Planning Commission is going to be presented with any project that is proposed, and you're going to review just as you have been doing here. So, based upon the recommendation of Ms. Hopkins and the Law Department, we're here to ask you to consider repealing Chapter 1186 of the codified ordinances, which is the Planned Unit Development Ordinance. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding that. Or if you so choose, you can consider it further at another meeting. If you opt to not do that and would like to move forward, then I would request that you consider referring it back to the city council with the recommendation that the ordinance be repealed.
When does and I may have missed that, I may have been off in Rick's world. When does the 130th, the new zoning, go into effect?
Well, it was passed, I don't know the exact date, it was
Passed
passed
on January 25th.
Okay, so it goes into effect 30 days after it was passed.
Okay, so do you think there's any issues that would arise between the time that happens, that it becomes effective, and if we were to take this PUD off now?
Well, the PUD won't come off right now. You would refer it back to the council.
The council.
The council will then have to have 3 readings and a public hearing. So
Okay,
we're
so that would
looking
fill that
at
gap.
middle of March or later for the actual repeal.
So that would fill that gap?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? So it took us months and months to get this thing, because I was around back then, to get this to go, and we're going to simply refer it back to council in one fell swoop.
Okay. And it's not, doesn't mean that the property itself is still zoned the same way, it's just outside of the PUD being eliminated, right? I mean, it's
PUD
still
will be eliminated, and this
it's
will be...
commercial zoning and...
It's going to be a mixed, Chapter 1185, which you considered, will make this a mixed-use zoning area. It's a more flexible type of zoning, and it will be as cumbersome for the commission as well as any potential developer.
Thank you.
I don't see any reason to hold it back or any other questions other than to move it forward to council.
For the purpose of the public meeting, I would emphasize that notice was given of this public meeting, and I would just defer to the Planning Commission assistant whether or not there were any other public comments submitted in regard to this public meeting.
No.
I want to check, was there anything online right now?
Anything in the chat?
No, nothing.
Okay. This was duly posted, Florence,
Yes,
with this agenda?
and it was a public notice in the Sun Post also.
Okay. Well, there you have it. So, okay, I move to refer repealing Chapter 1186, the planned unit development, to council for their consideration. Is there a second?
Second?
Roll call.
McCall.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Siboli.
Yes.
Litton.
Yes.
Schwackenwald.
Yes.
Just procedurally, would the proper step to be to close the public meeting and then take a formal action?
I would agree.
You want to go back and do?
We're still in a public, we're
Still in the public meeting, you probably should close the public hearing and then go back and make the motion.
All right. I want to close the public hearing and reopen the planning commission meeting. And let's take the vote to repeal Chapter 1186, the planned unit development, to council for consideration. Is there a second?
Second?
Roll again.
McCall.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Siboli.
Yes.
Litton.
Yes.
Schwackenwald.
Yes. And that is how it was here. Okay. Is there any other business for the planning commission? I move to adjourn.
Second?
Roll.
Kelly.
Yes.
Siboli.
Yes.
Litton.
Yes.
Schwackenwald.
Yes.
McCall.
Yes.
Planning commission meeting of February 1st, 2021 adjourns at 6 p.m.